Hello, No Extra Word listeners. This is Chris. Welcome to Season 3. We're going to talk all things Season 3 in just a couple minutes. I'm really excited to take the show to its new phase. But before I do that, I want to digress for just a minute and tell you all a little story of where I've been today, because I really wanted to capture some audio from my day. But did you ever have an experience where you were so busy living something that you didn't have time to document it? That was what my day was like. I carried my microphone around in my backpack all day because I was just too into what I was doing to stop and talk to you all about it. So here I am now. This morning, my friend Molly, my 6-month-old baby Max, and I drove an hour and 20 minutes to Bellingham, Washington, home of my alma mater, Western Washington University, because they had an unconference called nErDCamp. And nErDCamp is based on the EdCamp model, which I guess has been kind of going around the country. nErDCamp being the book nerd version of it. And it's a conference that follows the children's book conference, which we didn't make it to this year. But I was so excited to be in this space because I've been to librarians conferences and I've been to writers conferences. But this is the only event of its kind that I've ever been to that brings together writers, teachers, librarians, all people who love children's books and who are passionate about bringing children's books to children. And to get those people together in the same space to speak the same language, the language around books, is so powerful. I sat through a session on picture books with picture book writers and teachers and librarians and a mom who works at the university who loves picture books and wanted to bring them into her work with nonprofits. And all of us could come together and speak the language of picture books. And that was very powerful. So that is the event that we were just at. And I want to share with you just a couple of takeaways. First, from the author panel, there was an aspiring author in the audience who was asking, how do you balance the demands of the marketplace with your art, with what people are looking for versus what you want to write? And the author who answered the question said, I've written a lot of things. The only things that I have ever sold are the things that I really love, which I loved. And a couple of minutes later, a question came up about inspiration and sort of the muse. And the same author said, when I'm feeling inspired and everything's clicking and I'm firing on all cinders, I write. When I'm not feeling that kind of inspiration, I edit. And so those are my two big takeaways from this day that were so great. But it was just such a wonderful thing and a reminder that there's a whole world of people out there who love children's books, and I'm not the only one. And that was fun. And on the way home, Molly and I were having a conversation, which I kind of wish that I had recorded, but I wasn't set up to record and drive. And we talked about, this is an unconference model. So what happens at the conference is what attendees want. We brainstorm sessions and then we kind of set them up. And we said next year we should really talk about audio and video responses to literature, because this podcast that I'm doing and some video work that she's doing with her students, there's such a world out there right now of how we respond to literature in different ways. And that brought me back to here and this podcast and all of you, and made me want to talk about season 3. You may notice a different sound. Hold that thought. Don't you love it when the universe provides you with the perfect segue to what you wanted to talk about? Because what I was just going to say is you may notice a different style to this recording than what we've had in the past. And the reason is because my life has changed. And we've multiplied our number of children by 2. And the practicalities going down to my office to record for all of you have changed. And so I have gone to an all portable, mobile recording studio. So it's sounding a little bit different. I am hoping to clean it up a little bit and get to add some of the bells and whistles that we've had in the past. But we're going to be a little bit lo-fi for a while. And I think not just the sound of the show, but the content of the show is going to be a little bit lo-fi for a while, because I'm morphing this for season 3. I'm thinking of season 3 as my audio book blog. So I want to bring you into my reading and writing and storytelling life and share with you what it's like to be a reading and writing mom in my day-to-day and how I fit books into my day-to-day, and share with you some things that I'm passionate about in the world of literature right now and story, and get those out to you and really bring you into my reading life. So a couple of things we're going to do. I'm going to do a recurring segment, which is book recommendations you didn't ask for, where I'm going to tell you things you should be reading, whether you want to or not. And so we're going to do that feature. And I want to make sure that you all know that we're not just going to talk children's books and we're not just going to talk adult books. So if my talking about children's book conference turned you off, please don't be afraid, because I am currently reading a book for grown-ups. I have another book for grown-ups on tap to read next, and I want to share with you those kinds of things. But I also really am so passionate about children's books too, and having spent the day with other grown-ups who read children's books has reignited my belief that these are books for everyone. So season 3, Chris's audiobook blog featuring book recommendations you didn't ask for, is what we're going to head towards. And I am going to close this episode with my first edition of book recommendations you didn't ask for. And the first up on that list, it is Black History Month right now. So I've been doing Black History Month picture books over on Instagram. And I wanted to share with you all a book that if you've not read it, please go pick it up and read it to yourself, to your next door neighbor, to your kid, to whoever. And that is Patricia McKissack's Goin Someplace Special. I love this book. This is a powerful telling of a Jim Crow life of a young girl in the 1950s and her journey through a place where she is not always feeling welcome to a place where she knows she will always be welcome, which is the Someplace Special at the end of the book. Today has just made me want to shout out my favorite picture book. One of my favorite picture books. That's a really hard one to pick of all time. So that's today's book recommendation you didn't ask for. Guys, please stay in touch. I'm at noextrawords.wordpress.com. The conversation continues at noextrawords on Instagram. And the goal is to try to get back on a regular publishing schedule and get these out to you soon. So stay tuned, because I'm still shaping what season 3 is going to look like. But I'm really excited about it, and it's really exciting to be back. And this is No Extra Words, one person search for story, and I will be with you again oh so soon. Take care.